What's going on, guys? Mike, aka Crypto Jewels, back here with a quick Rio video. As I promised on Twitter, I'll be doing Trios after this one, but wanted to get the Rio video out. So let's not waste a whole lot of time and let's just hop straight into it. So I'm gonna make this fairly quick. Not gonna get too much into the weeds of the count, but we're going to. I've got really two scenarios. This is the main scenario that I've been watching and looking at, really since I started watching Rio when it was, down in this zone, popped up, and then came back and bottomed right here at about 10 cents or so. And I've had this count. It's morphed a little bit here and there, and targets have gone higher than expected. So that starts to open up the door to a different possibility and an alternative count. So, I'll get into that alternative count here in just a minute. But basically, my original primary count was this for Rio, that we had this three-wave ABC down, and then we had bottomed with this 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we were on this fifth here. This fifth wave is starting to get, extended to an extreme, and is starting to look a little funky. I mean, it would really need to top soon in order for this to be the one, and then our 2, 3, 4, 5, and continue our path up. But as you can see in this count, that I have got targets here, all the way from $30 to 113, and even all the way up to $900. That is absolutely ridiculously not going to happen. That $900. Again, my charts are based off of Elliott wave possibilities, not probabilities or guarantees or anything like that. So if this thing is a impulsive structure, this is the possible count, one of the possible counts. Ultimately for Rio, I do expect a minimum of $30. I really would look for probably closer to 100, to be honest with you. That's kind of where I stand with Rio at the moment. And this count reflects obviously that. So let's hop into my alternative count, which is kind of actually starting to become my primary. So in this count, what we would have here is basically a 1, 2, and then this would be our 3, 4, and then we would have a truncated fifth, which would place our C down here at this low. Therefore, this is not a one wave and this is not a two wave. So that changes the count pretty dramatically, which then puts basically our structure as a 1, 2, and now 3, 4, 5. So the targets are fairly similar. It's just a completely different path. The difference is we have already topped in our one wave, whereas this structure is showing us, this entire thing being a one wave, and then you would have a two wave. Which, is starting to really seem more unlikely to me. And this one is really starting to gain some momentum for me, as it being in the pretty much the heart of the third. So we would have, this structure 1 up, our 2 here, and then we have our first one of our 3 wave. So this is our substructure 1 of our larger degree 3 wave. And then we bottomed in our 2, and then explosively started moving out into the heart of our 3 of our 3. You'd have a 4, a 5, and this structure, this 3-wave structure, would take us up to about $27. And really, there's kind of, what's pointing me to this being the structure is our volume breakout here. So on our third wave structures, you typically see a breakout of volume. That's usually what happens. All the market participants start piling in really here in the heart of the 3, which is where I would say we are. So this one is really starting to line up more, in my opinion, to really fall into place with this count versus this count. So, this was my primary, and I'm really starting to lead towards this one being my primary instead of my alternate. I'm gonna keep an eye on both of them, but again, I really think that this one is more likely. This one takes us up to about $100 and then basically would top in an ABC. So that would make a whole lot more sense than the other one taking us up to a $900. That would still give this a 5-wave impulsive structure. So it would still lean towards a macro bullish structure overall long term, meaning this could put in a complete 5-wave structure like so, and then have a nasty bear market where, it goes all the way from $100 back down to $3. The people that just experienced that bear market or came out of that bear market about a year ago with crypto know that shit is possible. Look at Veracity, go look at numerous amounts of them, and it's obviously yet to be determined whether or not that structure ends up being repaired and being able to break back above the top of that old prior all-time high or not. A lot of people get stuck holding the bag once it hits here. Man, they hold it all the way down, and it never ever breaks back above the top of that old all-time high. So with that being said, I have no plans on diamond handing this thing all the way up to $100. I would start to really DCA out in this area here from 15 to $30. Depending how the structure unfolds, maybe have a little bit left, maybe 20% of my bag left at $100 to get out there. But I've been accumulating RIO really since this zone here under 10 cents. So I'm pretty damn happy, with however this thing turns out from here, on the macro. So, I'm not going to get too greedy, and I'm not going to end up being one of those guys that holds the bag. So let's hop into the micro here really quick. So, as I said here, this structure could be a couple different things, but basically we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which that could have been. This could have been our 1 wave in this count. I have it labeled over here as my old count, but just ignore that. So this could have been the 1, this could have been the 2. But right now, regardless of all that, I have got this structure as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being our 1 wave, and our 2. And then this would be us breaking into the heart of our 3 wave. So our 3 of our 3. And so far, this structure is holding up pretty well. This thing exploded out of this bottom and went up over, gosh, what did it go up? Over 100% in a matter of a couple days, with obviously a huge volume spike down here. Which again leads me to believe that my old alternative, that alternative count is actually my primary. So here we are right now on this count. I believe that we have got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry. Let me redo that. That wasn't correct. Got 1, 2, and then this being a 3, A, B, C, 4. So as long as this fib support box here is holding, which is from $1.14 to $1.38, that is our wave 4 support for this being a 5-wave structure. We should have one more leg up for our 5th, which would put in another 1-wave structure, and then a 2, and then off to the races in the heart of that 3-wave structure that we just talked about over here on this count. So, ultimately at this point, guys, on the micro time frame, as long as this structure is holding, I could have a count where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is just me really diving into the micro, into the weeds, which, you know, sometimes isn't a good idea, and those can morph, you know, frequently. So it is possible that we drop a degree here, and we do have our fifth wave in, which would look something like this instead, which this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our support zone for that. If this support breaks, if 114 breaks, then our ultimate support would drop down to, for a two wave, would drop down to potentially, let me just change my fibs here, all the way down to 92 cents again. So really, if 114 breaks, this box becomes our support zone. If 114 holds, then I'm assuming that we are in that in the four wave here, as I said originally, and we have one more leg up for our fifth, and then, you know, a small correction for our two wave, and then boom, right into our three of our three, which would, you know, be the heart of the macro three wave structure. So that's kind of my view on RIO right now. I will keep this video updated as we go. Hope you all enjoy. See ya.